Welcome to the Automaticist.
And welcome to Byte of Minecraft. Today, I will be giving a visitor's guide tour for people that are visiting the city of West Circle for maybe the first time or for just a brief amount of time. So right away, we're going to start at Alex Apuz's original house in the city. These are some of the oldest blocks that were placed in this world. We are very proud that this structure is still standing after so long. As you can see, we have his original bed that he slept in. We have his chest of items that we will respectfully not open. We have the teleporter area. So this is one of the oldest things that has been here. It doesn't always go up this high if you look at some of the older saves of this world, but it has been around since the very beginning. If we go out here, we can see right from where we came, and this is Crovinus Square. Now, this was used as a launch pad for a short amount of time in the early history of Omega. It was so popular because people would get off their spaceships and come right down here, and they would be around this area right at first, and people would come right to them because maybe it was their family or maybe it was a friend that was just arriving in Omega and they wanted to see them right away. So this place would always be a good community gathering space. And after this was no longer a launch pad, that's what it became. It was redone. Most of the launch pad tower was removed. A little bit of it remains, and walls were put up. Going down here, we're getting closer to the docks, and we can see on our left is the registration building. If you were moving to Omega towards the early days, you would be coming in here. You would register as an Omegian, be assigned to a division, and such. The upstairs is not open to tours. Again, we have our golden statue of Robert Crovinus, considered by some to be the founder of Omega. He is very important to our history and is considered one of definitely the most important historical figures in Omega, if not the founder. Again, we can sort of see right here, all of this was filled in later. The actual coastline that Omega had was sort of to right here. This is where Robert Crovinus actually moored his boat, and that's where the statue is today. So we can see that this statue is sort of would be in the water today, and we can see right here, here's where the actual shoreline should be. It sort of goes to here and then curves back around. All of this is built to look old, but is actually much newer. The actual oldest part of the city is a little bit inland, so we walk around here. It's basically right here. This is not the spawn, but I believe this to be the spawn for a long time. 30, 70, 256. So 70 would just be if I jump. Then of course we can see that Omega's first couple of security features are right here on the left. So we can see the city cells. Before the modern prison system was built, that's what we had. And then over here, right now on the left, we can see Omega Tower. So this was a defensive tower that was pointed in the direction of Kaban symbolically. Of course, you could never actually reach that far. These little holes here are windows today, but they serve as arrow slots for the time. Of course, this is an energy bow, as you can see, and this is an Omega sword, so you would be able to fire your energy bow straight out to sea. All of these buildings weren't here yet, so you would have a clear shot right out to this little bay area. Nowadays, you would hit the Imperial Press building and they would be very angry at you, and you would be in the news immediately for something very bad. Don't do that. Right here on the right is our Capitol building. Now, this was originally intended to be a bank, but the bank that it was being built for went out of business. So the government took over the building. It was right next to the Capitol building at the time, which has since been destroyed, but it was where this courts building is today. So they outgrew that pretty quickly, and they used this, and it was made to the highest possible height that a building could be built at that time, and still is as tall as buildings can be built. However, it was not the first tall building in Omega. That honor belongs to the Howman building right here. Now they sell elytras and other fine goods, and it was a 6-story building originally, as we can see by these slight extensions that are right here. This was the top of the building, and it was quite tall. If you think about it from ground level, today it doesn't seem all that tall, but at that time it was regarded as an incredible feat of engineering in Omega, because this building was built before the time of slash fill, so all of this was placed manually. It's really incredible. Just the sheer size of this building. Remembering that most buildings in Minecraft are just utilitarian size, right? They're as big as they need to be, no bigger. Right here we are at Omega Central Theater, not to be confused with West Circle Central Theater, which is a little bit to the south, and it's loading in right now. This is a very large theater, and it is circular. This is a very small old theater, and it is just a regular rectangle. So if we go in, we can see that there's this long corridor, and it leads to the first stage and the second stage. These are exactly the same. So we can just see this right here. It is a beautiful stage, and there is a bit of redstone lighting. So if we go in here, we can turn off these lights. You will not be able to do this on tours. This is normally locked. Now if we step on these pressure plates, we have speed right now. So we'll see if this. So we are still in beacon range. So normally those would open at the exact right time. If you had no speed effect, you would get there just in time for the doors to open, just like any pressure plate door. Now why won't these open? Oh, there we go. Well, that's that. This is Robert Covenant's house. There is no public access, as that says. Robert Covenant does come there every once in a while. I'm sorry. Just to stake his claim that he still owns this property. Of course, there was a very different Robert Covenant several thousand years ago. Of course, everyone's immortal, but it's no surprise here. Now, one thing that you won't see right away from the city is actually the official palace of the Archimele. But before we show you that, I'm going to show you what they used before. So typically, the Archimele will always build a structure that strongly resembles either a palace or a castle, and they will use that as their official residence and official place of work. So we can see what they originally used. This is the Castle of Omega. And now it isn't a castle in the proper medieval sense, of course, but it is designed to look and function like one, except it is not a defensive structure. It is not secure like a castle at all. flying very quickly so we can reach the modern day Palace of the Archimele. As you can see, it is a much larger building. What you've seen so far is that midway point. And then it continues over here. And this is the front side. You will not probably see this unless you are becoming an Archimele member. Over here, at the end of this, is our tourist entrance. So this is where you will come if you are visiting the palace. You will go through this beautiful blue walkway right into the Senate chamber, as long as the Senate is not in session. It is outdoors, and weather is automatically toggled whenever either of these chambers meets. You will go right from there to the Archimele. It's very similar, however, it is a bit fancier due to the fact that the Archimele are considered to be in higher standing than the ordinary Senate. Now, you may be given the opportunity to walk on the golden pathway, however, it is normally restricted. And you will see the interior of the palace and a model room, so you can get a feel for what it's like to be an Archimele. There's a lot of beautiful stuff in here. And once again, the palace is laid out on this perfectly flat, artificially placed grass. So we can see that there's a whole area down here that is not used for anything. So you will need to use the subway to get to that. And you will not be using the main entrance subway because that is for senators and Archimele and the Prime Super and the Savaka only. Over right here, we are on Capitol Parkway. So this is generally considered the most important, most famous street in Omega, and it gets better paving as we go down into the city towards the south side of the city where everything started. So as we can see, coming up straight ahead and to our right is Fairy Tale Station. This is a hub definitely for the subway network. It is definitely a historic station and I would recommend visiting it. It has several platforms and is one of the oldest buildings in this area. And now that we are back at the Pancini building and Omega Tower, we can conclude our tour by saying that this airport does have several offices. So if you need assistance as you are arriving in Omega, you can simply go up a couple of floors and you can use the regular staircase and you will be able to resolve ticketing issues and you will be able to solve other issues simply by going up here as you arrive or depart from Omega. Thank you very much for selecting Omega as your next destination. We look forward to seeing you there. Also, now that this tour is done, I can finally ask you to please subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Leave a like on this video if you like it. Dislike it if you disliked it. That's fine. My feelings will not be hurt by that at all. And don't forget to subscribe with hitting the bell icon as well, since YouTube now requires you to do that in order to receive all of the notifications from this channel. Thank you so very much once again for watching, and goodbye.